Thank you very much, Arimoto-san, and welcome everyone to the passionate talk about the art of front-end governance and platform engineering. I want to give some kind of light of how do we face some challenges in regards front-end in Rakuten and how we go through those. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Jorge de Castro, and I work for the Department of Enterprise Cloud Foundation, and I'm the engineering manager of the Front-End Foundations group. I come from Spain. It's pretty far away from Japan, but I'm really enjoying Japan. It's an amazing country. But also even in Spain, there is some Rakuten office, or I think Rakuten TV is from there. I'm from Madrid, actually. Not sure if anybody here knows or have been to Madrid in Spain, but that's why I'm also a huge Real Madrid fan. Yes, I know it's not the Rakuten team as it was Barcelona, but still I'm a huge supporter and I really like football. And I also really enjoy games lately, playing Overwatch 2, in the past playing League of Legends. I'm pretty sure there's people here that also like playing games. I'm sure about it. But the other passion I have, and one of my biggest hobbies since I'm really young, is programming. I really like to do web development. Since I was in the school, I was amazed always with the fact that I could create something that I could share with other people, across the world. That was crazy at that time. It's still crazy now. So I joined Rakuten on 2019, and the first project I joined, it was in Rakuten Ichiba. Yes, I joined Rakuten Ichiba front-end team, and I had an amazing time working with many stakeholders and incredible professionals with many kind of expertises like design, project and product management, front-end and back-end development. And back in the 2019, I lead the development of Ichiba top page for mobile phones. I'm pretty sure if anybody of you have been buying Ichiba with your smartphone in the actual website, not the application, you have go through the development I did. Using technologies such React, and I had tons of fun implementing a modern design, more minimalistic and appealable. Then it made me realize a great sense of fulfillment, how the work I did for several months is in the present impacting positively thousands of users. And when I did this project and I finalized it, we released it, and people was actually going through it. Then kind of it clicked to me. We did a great job developing Ichiba top page, and I love the idea of contributing back to the society. So I wanted to expand my scope of action towards more services to be able to impact positively more and more users, right? And Rakuten became the perfect place for me. I was able to talk with different people from so many different services. Thanks to our global and multinational ecosystem of services, I was able to reach an incredible professionals that widen my vision of what software engineering means. Rakuten then became this playground where I have the freedom to experiment and improve together with professionals with similar mindsets from so many different cultures and backgrounds. So even today, after 4 years, I keep learning day by day and challenging my technical and people skills. But not everything is about self-improvement in Rakuten. As I mentioned before, we have a unique ecosystem of services that impact the daily life of millions of users across the world. So being part of a technical company that through its services empower clients and businesses in a unique and challenged way, I'm super happy to face such challenge every day. So as a multinational company, engineering processes are extremely important to be refined with continuous improvement processes to provide always the best quality for our users. So then it becomes the challenge, right? Similar other multinational companies in the world, they have a hierarchical chart to distribute the different business units. So most of organizations are required to have a single view of the teams and people. And this is what we call the organizational chart. So this chart separates different entities and tags them as teams, groups, sections, departments. It mainly helps around regulations, legal compliance to identify which team is in charge of what, and it adds a layer of logic and accountability to each entity. So at the same time, it produces what we call team tunnel vision, where decisions tend to optimize only one part of an organization. For example, applying a new system to reduce application time to market for Department A won't apply probably to Department B, and there could be limit communications in between entities. In Rakuten, we encourage collaboration across departments to better serve the final users, and for that, we take actions both at business level and at technical level. So how does this apply to frontend, right? Why is related to frontend at some point? So it's about the team's tunnel vision in enterprise engineering. For example, if we have 3 different teams that are building web applications, or Team Panda doing the product B, Team Copanda doing product A, and Team Pink doing the product C, we could see that Team Panda and Copanda choose to use TypeScript for the new application, but then Team Pink is using JavaScript. Okay, you will see we have flexibility to choose, right, what fits better the needs of our users. Then Team Panda and Team Pink decides to use React, web development framework, and Team Copanda decides to use Vue, which is another web development framework, right? So I have a very quick question for everybody. Yes, you can jump into the chat and tell me, do you think these different projects are following a common standard in regard tech direction? What do you think? Let me know on the chat. Yes, no, maybe. Okay. Maybe yes. Okay. No. They are not following a common standard. Yes, they are following a common standard. Okay. I see some disparity of answers. Anybody else? Yep. Yep, I think they need to be harmonized and cohesive in a way. Okay, pretty nice. That's really good. Let's see what they might be or they are, right? So in this case, right, we saw that some people is using TypeScript, other JavaScript, some people is using React, other Vue.js, right? Due to the organizational chart that we saw before, there are many challenges in regards alignment, right? So in a really, really perfect world, right, where most of the use cases are similar, people will say, hey, for all the company, let's choose TypeScript and let's choose React, right? Having a common patterns of technology stack choices and so on will help to onboard new developers, will help to teach them to share resources across team, right? So how can we fix this challenge? The answer is with horizontal teams support. So imagine, again, we have Team Panda, and Team Panda has 2 services, Service A and Service B. Now, if there is a front-end platform group that tells to Team Panda, hey, we have high expertise and we really understand the use case of your product, and we advise you to use TypeScript, React, and for the infrastructure, the Cloud A, okay? Then eventually what can happen is that more business units can join this standardization and not just join, but collaborate towards improving that standardization. So in this case, Team Copanda join, Team Pink Product C join, right? And then we are enjoying everybody common standard. Now, fixing the challenges at the end, what the front-end platform group does is focus on reducing the amount of work of vertical teams. Vertical teams at the end of the day are those teams that produce value to the client, right? They have a specific product they develop for this product. But horizontal teams, such the front-end platform group, They focus on reduce the amount of work of these vertical teams so that they can focus on the business logic development, right? Let me explain a bit more. How can we do that? We can do that through front-end governance. So we can align the development experience and technical stack through a monorepository. And we can align the user interface and the user experience, UI, UX, through what we call design systems. So what is actually a monorepository? A monorepository is like is the short for monolithic repository. It's a development strategy where multiple projects or components are stored within a single repository of code. So we could have several business units all under the same repository of code, following coding rules, following CI/CD pipelines, following standards, everybody in the same page, collaborating together. Traditionally, developers will create separate repositories, right, for different projects, modules, libraries. However, in a monorepo, all these related projects are combined together into one central repository, bringing several benefits I'm going to explain later. So at the end of the day, Team Panda, Team Copanda, Team Pink from totally different business units can align in the technical stack towards developing front-end and collaborate together to make it better, yes? So at the end of the day, they can share technical stack, the libraries, and also how to interact with the different cloud infrastructures. So in this case, there's a screenshot of how could a common pipeline look like for different teams using the same cloud provider. So in this case, we are auditing the code, linting, building it, doing continuous delivery and continuous integration. So everybody, even if the teams doesn't have much expertise in DevOps, they can align and get all the benefit of it by and through collaboration. So probably you know some of those buttons, right? All these buttons comes from different services in Rakuten. Science, Ichiba, Rakuten Travel, Ichiba Taiwan, Rakuten Bank, and so on and so forth, and even Rakuten Mobile. So what is a design system? A design system is a collection of reusable visual components, patterns, guidelines, and assets that ensure a unified and polished look and feel across your application. We can think of it as a toolkit for building UIs that align with a brand's identity. Our design systems in Rakuten enhance the UI and UX design process and development process and ensure brand consistency across multiple products and platforms. So this is a very quick example. Everybody probably knows the red button, right? The crimson button in Rakuten. Probably you have seen in some services. But how about with the same code? Yes, just changing the theme. Yes, I can reuse this button, same code, in any service in Rakuten, right? So if Rakuten has, I don't know, let's say 80 services, I just need to code one button, right, for 80 services, instead of how it was traditionally done, each team developing their own button. You see now the power of the design systems. So in Rakuten, we have a core design system that from this core design system, we build each product design system. So Ichiba Taiwan has its own design system coming from this core one, and we also have Rex and so on and so forth. So we can create the design guidelines in applications such as Figma, and then we can create components and development guidelines through, for example, our UI framework such React. And then we can adjust the button towards what is the target and the user, right? Keeping this brand consistency at its core. So what is this good for? It's good for efficiency. Reusing pre-built components and guidelines speeds up development, reduces redundancy, and ensures a quicker time to market. It is also scalable. As an application grows, a design system scales effortlessly, maintaining a harmonious design language across different interfaces. It's also good for accessibility. So our systems come with accessibility built in, ensuring that the applications are usable by everyone, regardless of ability. It's also good for branding, to promote a cohesive look and feel throughout all the applications, regardless of the numbers of developers, designers, or teams involved. It presents a unified look to users and stakeholders. Then customization. While our design system provides a strong foundation, there's always a certain flexibility for the business units to customize and tailor them to the specific requirements. Then collaboration. So designers and developers can speak the same language with a common set of guidelines, components, and tokens, and this improves the productivity a lot. And then it's also easy to plug in. If I have, for example, a React application, right, I can integrate all these visual components without extra development effort or design effort. And finally, it provides consistency across the branding. Then, what is platform engineering? So platform engineering is an aspect of software engineering that majors in designing and building tool chains of workflows that enable developer self-service functions for software engineering organizations in the cloud-native era. So a golden path is opinionated, well-defined, task-specific, and supported path for creating software. If a team can stay on the golden path, it allows the development process to proceed more smoothly. And finally, an internal development platform consists of a standardized set of self-service tools and technologies that developers need to create and deploy code. Let me give you an example. I'm a new front-end developer that I'm going to start coding a new application in Rakuten. If I want to deploy the application, how can I, right? Then the questions start happening. How can I add analytics? How about if I want a custom domain? How about if I want to monitor the tool? What are the standards? How about if I want to use an internal library? Then you see, at the end of the day, you just wanted to develop, but you are asking yourself so many questions that are not related to the business rules development, right? The business logic development. So your energy level became like zero. The reason why is all about cognitive load. So in cognitive psychology, cognitive load refers to the used amount of working memory resources or the total amount of mental effort being used in the working memory. So the more context you have to pay attention to, the more overloaded you are going to feel. Therefore, you spend 20% of your time coding and 80% trying to fix other issues, which leads to a project delay and the engineering burnout. And we don't want to do that, right? So to answer all of these questions, in several companies, including Rakuten, we have what is called the internal development platform, which has all the standards to speed up the development part. And we could have a development golden path, which, for example, instead of focusing on all these questions, we can just create a project from a template, then do the business rules development in the monorepository, taking the authentication library of Rakuten, for example, the design system of Rex, and any other library that has already done by other teams through collaboration. Then I commit code if it's mergeable. I merge my code, and then automatically the tests happen, the deployment happened, and I just had to focus in the code, which is what I do best. Right? Then finally, what is this front government and front platform engineering for? It is good to unify development experience under the same coding, testing, deploying, and reporting patterns. It unifies UI/UX, empowering developers with design systems, and it creates and maintains golden paths to streamline the development, empower collaboration among teams, and offer self-service workflows. It helps for having consistency across the code base, a standardized approach to development, ensuring that teams follow the same guidelines and practices. It is good for knowledge sharing and onboarding processes. It improves the quality and reduces the risk over time. It is great to improve the development experience. And finally, it reduces cost because you empower developers through collaboration. And with just one design system, one way to develop, you can create multiple products in no time. So what's the future of front-end ecosystem in Rakuten? So there's many ongoing initiatives. We might go for open source our design system libraries. We want to also explore this low-code builder through this using our design systems. We want to apply this new trend of large language models applications in platform engineering. And we are exploring also to develop, to support leveraging OpenAI with custom data. So that said, I really hope it was an interesting session for you. And then I think we can proceed for the Q&A.